Give everybody a minute to pop in. I look like death today. Had like 4 hours of nurses and physical therapy yesterday, and let me tell you, it kicked my butt. And completely lied to myself today, thinking I'm gonna get up and use the coal bank from the fire last night and get the house nice and toasty again this morning, and not push the furnace. Screw the furnace. I'm too tired to make a fire, so I'm trying to wake up and get my body woken up and get my nerves firing correctly, so that I can talk myself into building a fire. Because it takes motivation, y'all. It takes motivation. I wanted to pop on and say howdy as you come in, so I know who I've got in here. Hi, Pocahontas. I wanted to come on here and talk for a minute about betrayal, because that is what Ryan is going to be dealing with right now. And we all are seeing a lot of people. Hi, Irish. We're all seeing a lot of people going through the YouTube algorithms right now, placing a lot of blame, a lot of fault, trying to kind of build a narrative, um, trying to sway the story into certain things, or sway it into certain have it, let it have certain momentum, so that they can build it into something that they can maximize financial benefit off of. But what betrayal is what Ryan is going through right now. It's betrayal. And betrayal is similar to grief, but actually different. And betrayal is actually this is going to really make weird some of y'all out. Betrayal is actually self-imposed. Now hang on with me. Don't let me lose you when I say that. Betrayal is actually self-imposed. Hey Priscilla. So as we go through life, even in kindergarten and preschool and on the playground, we have these presuppositions. I'm cold today, Rachel, and I'm trying to amp myself up to feel like battling the wood stove to really get the house toasty. But I'm going to do this first and talk myself into being, useful today. But as we go through life, we build up our presuppositions about people. Like even in pre-K, we go and we make a best friend, and we automatically see this best friend through our filters. So we see this best friend as someone who could never betray us, someone who has the same values as us, someone who has the same ideals as us. And we really, really, really build this person up, and we kind of create a character profile, just like you would in a video game. We create a character profile in our head of this person. But all of that is our inference. It is not actually that person. It is how we choose to see that person, desire to see that person, or really hope that person is. But we always get it wrong. Hi, Kareem. But we always get it wrong, because there's no way any human being can ever completely know another human being, or know what they're capable of or incapable of. We can never truly know another human being. So how does that manifest into betrayal that really causes us a lot of issues as adults? Well, most betrayals as a child, it's about social spatial awareness. And so you're learning, I belong more with this group than that group. I enjoy this game more than that game. I don't like this study period in school as much as this study period in school. And so a lot of it is we're building up our own knowledge of ourselves. And at the same time, we apply that with the people around us that we see join us in those things. We apply the same to the people around us. So while we're building up our own knowledge of self, the people that kind of join us along our way in our life, we're like, okay, well, they're like me. We see through our filters. If you've seen me talk about perceptual filters and biases, that's what we're building as we do all of that. So when we get up into our years where we become adults, and we kind of have this breach of freedom, where we have a whole lot of experiences that we now can have that can't be controlled by others, and we don't have to ask for permission, and we don't have to think about the consequences. We just get to act. Well, that's when we start to really feel what betrayal is, because we've gone through life normally in a sheltered, safe place, normally with people that have sheltered us and kept us safe. And now we find ourselves on our own little island in our own little world that we run this joint now. So we feel terribly confident because we run this joint. And we're not going to let anybody in this joint that we don't trust. And I've honed my skills my whole life as a child, not understanding a child's perception versus an adult's perception. And so then you start building a team of people that you think will never betray you. And then you all, like your senior year in high school, you think this is my best friend group. We're never going to betray each other. We're always going to be friends. We're always going to be there for each other. No one will ever hurt each other. We're always going to be just a phone call away. And then you go to college and you don't hear from your friends. Or the first thing you do hear is that somebody got married and you didn't get an invite. Oh, what? How could they do that? That's not possible. Because in my mind, they were my best friend. And everything that they thought, I thought. And everything that I thought, they thought. And it was reciprocal. Everything was reciprocal. Most of our viewpoints and perspectives on people are 98% false. Because it's built on our perception. And I cannot understand you. I can build a basis on your past behavior, which will probably be your future behavior. And I can say, okay, I see a pattern. But as far as what you may choose to do in any circumstance, I can't understand that. I can't say this is how they're going to make this decision. I can't say this is what they're going to base their decision on. This is how they're going to allocate their emotions. I don't know any of that because we are such different beings. But because we think we know people, when they betray us or they go outside of those parameters that we've applied to them, we feel really hurt. Not because they did something we can't understand, but because they're not who we thought they were, which gets us to thinking, holy crap, if I got one wrong, I've got another one wrong. Oh, Jesus, I'm surrounded by snakes. I could have screwed up on everyone I've trusted, and then you start the self-doubt. So betrayal is actually an intrinsic issue because it speaks to how did I make all these mistakes about the people I put around me. And so that's how a lot of people look at betrayal. And that's why a lot of people have such grief responses to betrayal and don't heal from betrayal. And they're like, holy crap, this is never going to get any better. And, I'm going to be alone. And they get really hard-nosed in life, and they almost make life not worth living because they then subtract, joy, and people that can bring joy, they keep it away from their life because they want to control everything. And then they certainly don't want to show that they are questioning themselves now, only others. I don't want to show anybody that I'm questioning myself. But inwardly they are. They're questioning themselves, going, how did this happen? I thought I had this down. I thought I knew these people. I thought these people had this relationship with me. I thought we had this, caretaking, reciprocal, return on investment, friendship, loyalty. What the heck? And so it really does shatter who you think you are, because if you're in the middle of a group of people that you trust and you find out that one or more of them are not who you think they are, they're capable of things that you didn't think they were capable of, then you question everyone in your group, even yourself. And then people that struggle with composting the betrayal and understanding what it is, which is just a filter. You were looking through a filter of your life's events and your life's expectations on others, and someone did not fulfill those expectations. That's all it was. So the big bad betrayal, that's what it is. You're looking through a filter where you want to see the best of everybody, and everybody be good to you, and you be good to everybody, and that everybody is kind and generous and loyal, and then boom, it doesn't happen. Because you're looking through your filter at these people instead of looking at this person as a human being with all the open options, all the impulses, all the decision making and flawed decision making skills, and all the issues that a human being comes with. So we need to stop looking at people through our little, flawed filters and start seeing real people again, and understanding that betrayal is something that is common. It is something that can be worked through. It is something that you can learn to limit and reduce by not overplaying that I think I can pick out the best people. I think I can tell who's on my team. I think I, can feel the vibe of somebody. It really takes a long time to establish a trust, and even those trusts can be breached, as we see every day. And a lot of it is based on when dynamics change and filters don't. So I would say between Ryan and Miss Patty, the filter that he had of his mother growing up through the time that he first became famous is much different than the filter he had when he became famous, became the breadwinner, and started taking care of the family. I'd say his filter on his mother changed after that. So I'd say for the first part of his life, he looked at his mother as someone who took care of him, where he found his safety, where he found the comfort, love, and desire to kind of keep going. His family was obviously very important to him. And then when he became the breadwinner, it shifted, I'm sure, to where he felt more in power, more in control, more dominant, so that he felt people should come to him for those feelings and emotions that he went to them for when he was younger. And so it kind of flip-flopped. Did anybody discuss that? Did anybody discuss how the family dynamic had changed? Did anyone discuss their expectations for family dynamic, pecking order, hierarchy? Because those are things that you need to talk about, because those are all things that we're thinking. We're herd animals. We like to know where we fall in the line of things. But we have to look at everyone as an independent person with independent thoughts, with independent actions, and with the ability to screw us over. Because we don't need to lock ourselves into thinking just because I have a friendship or just because I have a relationship, I'm safe here. Because that is how you lie to yourself, and you drop your guard and you allow people to take advantage of you. Now, not everyone will, and you'll find friends that won't. You'll find friends that will do it in smaller ways that you won't always catch. You'll find friends that will do it for other reasons than financial. And you will find friends that just hang along for the ride, just waiting for a power moment. And it's just, humans are flawed. We're flawed. We do not understand each other very well at all. And without communication and verbalizing expectations and laying down our issues and talking about them, they're allowed to just evolve into things that we cannot maintain. And so what Ryan is actually going through right now is he thought he was in the middle of this safe cluster of people. And what he's found out is that these people that he thought he was in the midst of and was safe within, he got it all wrong. He's thinking, I got it all wrong. Now, did he get it all wrong? I don't know. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. But right now, he's thinking, I got it all wrong. But who is he questioning the most right now? Himself. Because he's the person who controls the relationships he has with others. So the betrayal he's feeling is probably mostly from himself. He's thinking, why did I trust people? Why did I allow this to happen? Why did I believe in somebody? And so right now he's probably being hardest on himself. And it's difficult, because until you really start sitting down and thinking, well, okay, how am I looking at other people and holding people to, to such absolute high standards? Let's look at me. Have I always held myself to such high standards, or have I done things I'm not proud of? Have I always been the absolute best friend? Have I always been the absolute most loyal friend? Or have I done things and made decisions that I'm not proud of? And we all, if we all start looking in our background, we're going to find things that we've done that we're not proud of. So we're all capable of this. It's how we start to rebuild the foundation of friendships and how we pull people back in. That's kind of how life's going to go from now. But what doesn't work is denying that you had any responsibility or accountability, because a friendship falling apart, or any relationship falling apart, takes two. It takes two, because it takes two to communicate, and it takes two to not communicate, and it takes two to fall apart. So there's some accountability on all sides. And so to push off all that on someone else is not going to fix the problem. And to be loud and show a lot of bravado and turn yourself into a character that can't be harmed, it's just further lying to yourself, because we've already proven that you can be harmed, and it does hurt, and there are changes that need to be made. So right now, I think he's going through more of a betrayal period. And that betrayal period, like I've said on my other videos, betrayal never comes from strangers. We don't have expectations for strangers. We walk amidst hundreds of thousands of people. If you live in the city, you walk amidst hundreds of thousands of people daily, and you have no expectation of these people. And if something horrific were to happen, while you may be shocked that our society is capable of those things, it wouldn't hit you here. It wouldn't hit you in your heart, because you would not feel that you are in the middle of that. But when things happen that are betrayal, and it hits the middle of our home life, or our friendship circle, or our close-knit, family groups, it hurts. It hurts. And you need to go into a reevaluation period, and you need to understand why you attract certain people, understand how to stop attracting certain people, and take ownership when betrayal happens, and say, okay, and here's my part of the blame, because all of this takes two. So, like, for this issue that's going on with Ryan stating all the money was gone from his accounts, and he was being told he needed to stop spending. Okay, yeah, taking money from his accounts and spending stuff where if he was not okay with it, was not signing off on it, and he was not aware of it, is wrong. Absolutely wrong. What does Ryan need to deal with on his side of the accountability? That was his money, and that he needed to be keeping a closer eye on it, and he should have been more financially aware, and maybe he needs to have closer eyes on in and out of the finances of his business and his home. So he can fix that, so that maybe the next time he's in a scenario, he will not be betrayed in that manner, because now he's going to have a better grasp, better control on that outlet in his life. So, it's just making small little changes so that we can put ourselves in places of oversight, not really power, it's oversight, so that we can hopefully stop something before it becomes something that really does turn into betrayal or a loss. So, but it's never a positive thing to feel anything like this that's going on. I have no idea what happened between him and Beth. I have no idea. All I know is it all happened together, which is like boom, 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 boom. And it makes me feel like there was one betrayal, so he just immediately questioned everybody. And they fell like dominoes. That's what it feels like to me. And it's sad because let's talk to all the hunters out there. When you're running a pack of dogs and you got one dog screws up the whole hunt, do you get rid of all the other dogs in the pack too? No, you get rid of one that screwed up the hunt. But why, as humans, when we have a pack of friends and one friend screws us over, do we always tend to get rid of the whole group of friends? And it's fear-based. It's fear-based. And it's because we believe that what has happened has like poisoned the entire pool. And I think that's maybe kind of his mentality right now, is maybe the whole pool is poisoned. And it may be. He may need to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and pick out who he wants and who he doesn't want. He may need to ask questions and bring in some people to do some questioning and see if something else has been going on. But it's the betrayal that's hurting him more than anything. And whether he wants to think it or not, once he gets through the shock of the betrayal and the ownership of the part of the betrayal that was his to own, then he will kind of grieve a little bit. But betrayal is less about grief and more about learning that my perception, my filter on everyone around me is flawed. No matter what I think they are, no matter what I think they're capable of, no matter who I want them to be at the core of my heart, no matter who I hope they are, I don't know anyone that well. Anyone. Because every human being on the planet is an individual. We all are flawed in so many ways, and you never know an impulse, a reaction, a desire. You never know what someone's capable of when put in certain positions under certain strain. It's pathetic, but it's just the truth. Brittany, I understand. I would never touch my children's money either. I feel horrible for him. Like I know that he's upset and he's angry. And the anger is a buffer for how bad he's hurting. But the longer he throws that buffer up there, he's going to miss some really awesome stages of healing that can start if he will let it start. Nick, I think there's more to the story. Now, this is just me being me. This is just me. Used to supervise criminal offenders, murderers, the worst, and used to do a lot of counseling. I think there's more to the story. Because as you all know, and I've been very open about, I've seen a huge shift in Creek Squad in the last year, and I've been talking about a shift in Ryan's behavior for the last 10 months. And I'm not talking bad about him. I've just seen behaviors that were not a pattern for him until the last 10 months or so. And so I don't know what has changed because I'm not privy to a lot of information in his world. So I just see that the patterns are changing, behaviors are changing, and how he responds to certain stimuli is changing. That tells me there's been a trigger event, a change of something going on, and we've got some maladaptive behavior and maladjustment time going on. Something's not quite right. I want to know what happened about 10 months ago, 10 months to a year ago, who came in, who exited, or what event occurred that was a shock to the system. Because that's where the key to all of this lies. Anger is always a secondary emotion, yes. But it's the one that we put up to the top to hide everything else. Because we think people are afraid of anger. And so we push up anger so that we can mourn, in private. Never mourn in private, honey. Let it out there. Show everybody what you're going through, and you'll be a better human for it. But, so I think there's more to the story. I definitely think there have been bad actors and bad players. Because if you watch the video I made a couple nights ago about Johnny Gobble, I had never watched a Johnny Gobble live, ever. I had people send me clips of them. I had no desire to watch them. The man changes, one day he's talking about putting people in jail and writing lawsuits. Next day he's quoting the Bible. And I just can't do this with people. I need consistency. I just can't. I feel like he's like one of those paddle balls, and it's just like, and I can't do that. I need some consistency, so I have a very hard time following him, and I don't enjoy listening to him. And but for some reason, I was up late the other night, and I saw his live come on, and I clicked on it, and I'm so glad I did because I caught a very key moment, and I went back and recorded it. I screen recorded it and made it into a video. Because as much as he wants to say, "Oh, I'm holier than thou," or I pegged this," or "See, I was telling y'all the truth," when that guy, whoever that other guy was like, "Yo, how was Christmas this year?" "Oh, it's pretty good." And so you know that he was the recipient of something, and you know who it came from. But then he's going to get online and talk bad about the person who benefited him. So if the monies were taken out of the accounts inappropriately and he was the beneficiary of it, then he's in possession of stolen funds. So why would you laugh about that? I mean, it's just like, idiot. So I recorded that, and that's when I was like, oh, yeah. And I didn't know to what extent everything might be going on, but and the sad thing is I think probably a lot of what's been done has been done out of kindness or generosity to help somebody else, or there's probably a whole different thought pattern from Miss Patty's side about what she was trying to do. And being in the bookkeeping and accounting side of things, she had the power to make some decisions and maybe didn't follow through and get all the okays that she needed. And I hope that they could talk about it, because I think that there's probably something that they both need to tell each other that they've been withholding for fear of it will piss the other off. Well, now you're both pissed off. Just tell each other what y'all needed to say. Just get it on out there. We done slop the hogs, throw the rest of it out there too. It's already not a pretty picture. Just pitch the rest of it on out there too. Because I think that there is something else going on that I just think I just don't think there was a malicious intent with this. Now, could I be wrong? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll probably know at some point. But I just feel like something's been off in Ryan's world for a while, and I've seen Miss Patty kind of be distanced from him for a while now. And it's made me wonder if there's been a dynamic change in his team, or something, a struggle with, like, if she got a friendship circle he didn't agree with, or at one point I was like, is she maybe possibly seeing somebody that he really doesn't like, or is because it just felt like they were kind of ostracized from each other for a little while. And I thought, this is just not the norm, because a lot of the times their energies feed off of each other, and they talk about a lot of the same things. And it just got to where it was like two separate worlds. And now you see that a lot of the people that she was going to create friendship circles, they've all been in some kind of strife or struggle with Ryan now. And it's just strange. I don't know. I just find it strange that they would all fall like flies. But that he would have absolutely no idea what was going on. If I made that much money, I'd have a list in my hand of what went out of my house every week, what was coming into my house every week. I'd know how much money I spent on toilet paper. I'd know how much money I spent on guests in my other homes that wiped their butt with my toilet paper. I would be so careful about my finances, because that's a lot of work to make that money. You want to know. You want to know where your money's going. So, but it just feels weird. Something just feels weird, like we don't have the whole story yet. Gone says, I think it's gone. I am so blind. Ain't none of my business. Just my opinion. Yeah, that's why I kind of get on here and talk. I'd also try to let you understand the psych behind it, so that it gives a little bit more depth, so that you just don't just like stay in like a constant fluster. Kind of understand what's going on internally. You say, I think the blonde from North Carolina, I forget her name. Yeah, Katie Noel. I think he really loved her and dumped the one girl, and he screwed him over. I think that was a huge awakening period for him, to where he figured out, I can screw up. I can screw up royally. People can betray me. People can lie to me. I can't always pick up on it. I can't always tell who's telling me the truth. And I can't always trust people that say they want to be in my life for a certain reason. Because right around that time, and here, I'm a Ripta fan. I'm a Ripta fan. I adored Ripta. I did a body language feedback on Ripta's little statement about Katie Noel. I see Ripta as like one of the most concrete, stable, going to say exactly what he wants to say, exactly how he's going to say it. It ain't going to change in 30 years. It'd still be the same story. I really liked Ripta. I thought, that's a good, solid man right there. And then all of a sudden, Ripta's gone. Felicia's gone. And I'm like, why are all these, what I would call good, concrete people, leaving him? And is it just because the dynamic in the house has changed to where they're not happy there, or is something going on? And of course, we all sit here and we can make any assumptions we want, and we're 99% of us are going to be wrong. I'm just concerned. But I think Katie Noel screwed him over. I think it really mentally, and that's how Ryan and I first met on YouTube. Was I did a psych breakdown of what Katie Noel was doing. And so that's how I got into this. Then I started being called Mama Creek Squad and the Creek Squad counselor. It was just really weird, but that's how I got into doing these little psych rambles about his life. And he appreciates them. He knows I'm always going to be honest. I try to never be mean. I always try to be respectful and say things in the most respectful manner. But give him something to think about, and the fans a little bit more knowledge, so they're just not like pitchfork mobs going after people. Yeah, she was definitely, that was a career move for her. It was not a relationship. I saw where he stood in front of the building and talked about his family and his dad. I had a really bad night last night with my legs. So I was not online a whole lot last night. I was basically crying, curled up in the bed with my legs. So I'll check and see if I've missed anything. Yeah, when you make that much money, you got to be on it. You got to be on it. Who is going to question their own mom? If you make that much money, you question everybody. Because when you're in a business setting, you don't take your family filters into a business setting. That's why I say never employ friends, never employ family, because the crossover is, you just muddy the waters. But he should have set up a separate professional team for his finances and kept his family and friends out of it. And if he wanted to dote on them or spend money on them, he should have done it for special occasions, but never become a source of income for them, or an expectation, that he would hand out whatever they needed. But yeah, if you've got that much money, buddy, you need to be on it. You need to know what's coming in, what's going out. I have absolutely no money, basically, but by God, I know where it's all going. I know where it's all going. So, it's just, your 30s, your decade of 30s is a huge learning curve, because you can no longer say that I am ignorant as a juvenile, but you're not a seasoned adult. So you're like, frig, now I've got to figure life out. And it's a sucky decade. It's a really sucky decade. It is. It's just a really sucky decade. Well, I try to be neutral, Rachel, because perceptions can be flawed from both sides. And we don't really have the full story. I find it hard that there would be like a malicious intent from his mother. But at the same time, I feel that there's been a shift in his inner circle for the last 10 months. Maybe those two things play off each other. Maybe there's something going on that she's also concerned about. I don't know. I've just seen this huge shift in Creek Squad and a shift in his patterns of behavior and the way he presents himself. So I've been concerned about him. And I've voiced my concerns as politely as possible so that he knows I have those concerns. I mean, I don't hold back. I tell him what my concerns are, but I try to do it in a polite manner. But I just want him to know that the betrayal he's feeling, he's got ownership of it too. So he can't put up this big, I'm this big bravado star persona. No, he's got to set that aside and deal with the person that was betrayed, that set up an inappropriate boundary, and set up a filtered, friendship, a filtered perception of somebody, and it led to him being wrong. So like if we think that we know this person and they will never do this, and this is my view of them, they're great, they love me, they're all consumed by me, and they will never harm me, and they're loyal to me, and then boom, they do something. Not only does it shatter our perception of them, but it shatters our perception of ourselves, because they're not what I thought they were, and holy crap, I can't pick people out. So he's kind of spinning right now going, holy shit, what else did I get wrong? And to cover that up, he's getting real hard. But y'all, he's spinning inside right now. Probably checking everybody that's around him right now. I don't fault him. He needs to probably clean house a lot. I thought Ryan and Beth were great too, but I don't know what happened. I just always thought that Beth handled herself so gracefully, and it was such a little classic. Did not try to steal his sunshine and steal his spotlight, and didn't try to create any animosity in Creek Squad, and didn't try to start any beefs with anybody, and just wanted to read her books and watch her wrestling. And I was just like, you go, girl. And I really liked her, and I never saw her do anything that made me think anything negative of her. And actually, after they broke up, I sent her a message, and I was like, thank you, because there for several months, Creek Squad had a very quiet, on the down low, sweet young woman that was not a spotlight hog, was not endeavoring to better themselves by creating social media and trying to become an influencer. She just really didn't change a whole lot. I don't know what happened there, and I probably don't want to know what happened there, but I really had high hopes that was where his ground was going to be. He's going to come back to ground there, because I'm the one that told him to stay away from the flaming hot Cheeto women, because they'll burn your ass every time. So if y'all have heard him talk about that came from me. I was like, stay away from the flaming hot Cheetos. Go pick you a classic salt and vinegar chip that goes with everything. So that was me. But but all of this crashing right now tells me that there's been more than just this betrayal noted, because he started getting hyper aggressive around the Rodney case, and then now we've got this crash and burn that is just in like perpetual cycle right now. So I think this is just a drop in the bucket. There's been way more going on, and he's really hurt right now. He's really, really, really hurt right now. And it's because not only did he realize he doesn't know the people that he has around him, but he just realized that, oh crap, my detective skills about who I'm bringing into my world I'm not doing too good right now. And that's hard to realize, and that, like, you find a lot of those things out about yourself in the 30s. Your 30s are your hardest decade. I'm here to warn you. They sucked for me. Oh yeah, all the people attacking Patty when they don't even we don't have all the information, and we probably never will. But it's his money. She was the accountant bookkeeper. It's their problem. Who are we to throw shade or call names? Does it concern your bank account? No? Well, what good are you doing then? And there's no reason to cause someone additional harm. You can tell Miss Patty's hurting. You can tell Miss Patty's hurting. And the other night, Ryan said, anybody that has anything to do with my mother, you're dead to me. Well, I hate to tell him this, because I love Ryan. I love Ryan, and I would help him if he ever needed to talk, vent, if he needed me to help him find him somebody to see, to talk and vent, because I'm not practicing anymore, but I could definitely help him find somebody to talk and vent to, or if he just needed a friendly advice or something. But I would do whatever I could do to help the boy, because I really believe in him, and I want him to be, this like lasting, like representation of what a good old country boy is, in Tennessee. And but at the same time, Miss Patty's never been anything but nice to me. So I'm not going to be mean to her. I have no reason to be mean to her. And I'm not a robot. I'm not a minion. I'm not a marionette. I'm not controlled by him. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are just turning attack. And those are the people that are also on the internet causing so much shit for Creek Squad. Because Creek Squad used to be a positive place that was all about family and keeping it real and being helpful and productive. And now it's just like a mob. And, the moment Ron, has a hangnail, we got to go scream at somebody because you hurt him. And it's like, yo, stop. He's a grown man. He can take care of this. He doesn't need you there. And a lot of times it just feeds the wrong flames. So, yeah, Creek Squad is getting a little out of hand. Yeah, I think the betrayal that he felt when Katie did what she did I think that was a very hard one for him. Yeah, because I think whatever perception he had of her when she betrayed him, it blew his mind that he was so wrong. And how could he have been so wrong? And if you look at that time, he dumped a lot of people on his team at that time and had a lot of beefs at that time too. So this is kind of like, I said he cycles. This is kind of like another cycle. And, we all cycle in life to some point, but it can be rather unhealthy. Hey, Daniel. Daniel says, this isn't a troll situation for us to troll. This is his mother, who we have loved and looked out for many years. So I will not take part in attacking her. And this is personal family issue. Thank you, Daniel. This is the Creek Squad that I'm part of. The Creek Squad that goes, whoa, boundary. Whoa, I don't need to be in that. I don't mind the trolling for fun, but when you're trolling to actually hurt someone, I'm not cool with that. And Creek Squad has turned to where they really like to, they like to go for blood. Brittany, I don't think he would want people to go after his mom either, but he's not in a very good spot right now, and he's got a lot of healing and learning about himself to do, and he's confused right now too. So, and it's just sad that people take advantage of the scenario to like get their rocks off. It's just sad. I still wish Ron would go back and watch all my videos from the last week, because they all are really good videos about dealing with certain things, perspective, handling things. Rachel says, I got mad at Patty for a quick second, then realized how happy for people who stayed on me. Yeah. I mean, we've all had problems that we didn't want others to get in on, we didn't need other people to make it worse. And that's kind of where I am. I'm like, dude, none of this touched me, my family, or my bank account. So therefore, it's not my problem. Although I do feel for what they're going through, because it's a horrible scenario, and the betrayal that he must be feeling is horrible. I just don't think we have all the information, and I don't really think we should be privy to all the information. But I wish people would just kind of respect it and walk back, and remember that for over a decade, Miss Patty has been nothing but love and light. I mean, her pattern of behavior has been pretty consistent: positivity, love my son, and not really. She's not really drove herself to become her own persona. She just kind of like, hey, I do my own thing, and like she thrifts and does like costume jewelry. She's not like trying to set up an enterprise. So like, I don't see her taking money as trying to set up an enterprise for herself, because she's so down low key, and that's been her pattern forever. So I'm like, where did this money go? Why are we buying real estate? What are we doing? What's the rest of the story? Maybe we'll know it one day. Maybe we won't. Maybe it was malicious. Maybe it wasn't. But I'm just saying her pattern of behavior for me doesn't fulfill that she would have done this to hurt him. Now, that doesn't mean it's right. You know, if you're spending someone else's money and you have to have a sign off from them, it's not right. If she didn't get the sign off with the correct paperwork, the correct signatures, it's not right. But I'm not about to cast her into the seventh layer of hell when I don't know half of what's going on. It's just kind of like, Ron he lives his life online, which creates a lot of issues because it creates a lot of speculation. And so it's not just his filters that are often wrong, it's 4 million filters that are all wrong. And then we all have to beef about who's got the correct filter. And it's like, nobody does. We're all flawed. We're all flawed. So even as educated and as much education and as much career experience as I have in this, I'm sitting here saying I could be absolutely wrong with what my gut feeling about this is. I can tell you the psychology behind betrayal and what he's going through, but the reason it occurred, my gut feeling, I could be absolutely wrong. I don't think Ron pays enough attention to Creek Squad because he sounded really confused the other day when I said Creek Squad had taken an angry turn. And he actually said he was confused. And then I explained it, and he thanked me for, my thoughtfulness and sharing that. But it was like, yeah, we pick up on, we pick up on the shift in what's going on in your life, and it's like Brian and Creek Squad have a very symbiotic relationship. They feed each other. Yeah, yeah, Rachel. I'm sure Miss Patty has something else that she needs to tell Ryan, and maybe he'll be able to listen, and maybe he'll see a compromise, or at least understand her perspective, and maybe not feel as betrayed, and understand that maybe it wasn't like a malicious intent. Um, I don't know. I feel bad that he's going through so much, but at the same time, there are a lot of ways to make sure that you set yourself up to not have to be here, such as in not employing friends and family, keeping a professional team, putting your money in a very prominent and well versed and well investigated financial planning group that you get even daily reports if you want daily reports, so you know what's going on with your money, and you don't leave those open gaps so that people can manipulate things, and you don't put trust in people that shouldn't be trusted, because when you have a professional group take care of something, it's professional, and they can go and be sued, and if they're not professional. But when it's your family, they try to play, sometimes the emotional route, and they can take advantage of you and manipulate you, and it's just better to not, it's better to not employ family or friends and to keep it separate. It just never creates a good thing. New sub, well, welcome to the family. We're a little crazy, but we're all nice. It is. It's a sad situation. I feel bad for everybody. It's going to take him some time to really sift through this, because as long as he's doing this bravado and I'm the big man and by God, I'm a warrior, I'm invincible, he's not going into his heart and going, okay, where's my ownership in this? Can I change what I'm doing and how I'm looking at people and how I'm putting people on my team, and what do I need to change? Because you can't always blame everyone else, because he chooses who's on his team. So half of this is on him too. And so he needs to really be looking at how he chooses his team, why he chooses his team, what makes him mad. Make a list of what I cannot tolerate and never hire anyone that has any of those qualities that I cannot tolerate. And he needs to make sure that he separates friendships and employment and keeps it professional on one end and then friendships on the other end. Oh, yeah, I think the predominant group of Creek Squad are still good old boys. They're just really quiet right now because they're seeing so much anger out there, and they're like, I'm not going to join in. Okay, is it Vanjie? Like, I don't. I don't know if it's just the run-on sentence that's confusing me or what, but I've been pretty consistent the whole time. Ryan's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of cyclical behaviors and patterns that he needs to work on. And a lot of those pattern behaviors people learn to prey upon. And he's not taking care of some things that he could quickly identify and change to create better pathways in life. So he's got a lot of work to do. So none of what I've said last week is not true. I don't know. Maybe I just read that wrong. I hope I read that wrong. I'm half blind right now too, so I think Vanjie, is it Vanjie? Try that one more time, Vanjie, in other words, because I think I read that wrong. Yeah, anger feeds hate, frustration, destruction. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like he's been in that, like, if I ever got a horse and it was more apt to tear me up, buck me off, or just do stupid things when I was around it, I would say, well, it's left-brained. And I've got to learn how to balance it over to the right. And so I would know that horse had a dominant lobe, and I would have to really, really, really work both sides of that horse and really try to balance out its thought pattern, and because it was engaged mostly in its left brain, because it was basically like a human, amygdala driven, fight or flight, whoo, wide-eyed, gonna get you. And so I think Ron is kind of stuck in that right now. And so he thinks he's big and bad, but he's kind of in a free fall from the anger, really kind of, nothing's making sense. There's not a logic pattern to the behavior right now, and that's never good. Pocahontas says his two right-handed men are his cousin and his best friend. Okay, I read stuff. Oh, Benji, don't worry. They said you was probably talking about something else. I inferred it wrong. I'm human. I'm flawed. Sometimes I read and I'm trying to read so many messages that one will get contorted in my brain. And it's hard to talk. I would much rather have a table and meet up with people and talk about it and see body movements and facial expressions and all the nonverbal communication that goes out. This is great. But it's not like a real cohesive group where you get to know somebody and you feel their energy and you really get to get a good vibe off of somebody. So, I'm disabled. I don't get out of the house a lot. And it's like butthole below here today. It's so cold here today. So I'm having a very difficult time getting around. My legs are not wanting to function today. But I wish I could get out and socialize more. Because I was used to being out and had 200-300 people's families I took care of. 80 people on a roster for, counseling and group therapy. And now I'm at home and it's just yeah. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating to say the least. So, but it's nice that I can get on here and kind of say, okay, here's what we're seeing. This is what, what's going on. This is, and I can only do it to a certain depth from the internet, from what he shows, because he's very controlled about what he shows on the internet. But at least I can give us a little bit of understanding about kind of what's going on chemically, mentally up here, and help you all learn to identify perhaps when y'all are going into those little scenarios, and just be a little bit more aware of how your brain works and how you relate to people, but betrayal is betrayal is really us betraying ourselves, because we look at all these people and we put them through our filters and we say, oh, we can trust them. They would never do this. That's a great person. They could never think of this. They would follow me to the ends of the earth. And then all of a sudden the filter falls apart when they do something we don't believe they could. Well, the filter fell apart against that one person, but it shatters our whole esteem and our self being able to understand and choose people choose the correct people. And so while it blows up our expectation about the people that we thought could never hurt us, it blows up our own expectation about, I can't even choose good people for myself. I am also a harm to me. And so you know, it also blows up your own esteem about yourself. So he's feeling it from various vantage points right now, and probably feels very scared, very lost, very fractured, very mentally fragmented, and is having a very, very, very difficult time finding a spot to land on to start from again, because the world is probably spinning out of control for him right now. And a lot of like the old solid people, places, and things have kind of fallen away in the last couple of years. So he's evolving, but did he evolve so quickly that he left some of his grounding and like foundational stuff behind? I don't know. This is a test for him. Oh yeah, people are gonna be so mean to Patty, especially over what Ryan said, and y'all know he didn't mean that. I mean, it had the, what he said had the hate behind it, but I don't believe it had the weight behind it. I believe it absolutely had the hate behind it. I just don't believe it had the weight behind it. I think we'll see him probably retract that in some way, or that they will hopefully at some point in the future be able to work this out. But I just think there's more to the story. I think there's more manipulation, more people playing into the manipulation, and more people preying upon the good graces of that entire family, because they're all super generous and super sweet. That's what boggles my mind, is like, you go after the person that has his billfold always open and his heart always open, and that's who you steal from? I mean, you could literally just go up and ask. And Ryan's one of those people that would probably help. If he had the ability, he would help. And that's who you choose to thieve from? Like, you try to do this whole Ocean's 11 double spy, Jethro Bodine, event. His heart and his wallet has always been open for people. This was so not necessary. But that's all that I can see. That's my filter, and I know that it's probably flawed. So I have to wait for more information. So I'm sitting here going, I think I know my filter and what I'm seeing, but I also know it's probably flawed. So I'm going to wait for more information and see what happens. And I'm not going to be really mad at somebody over my filter and my thoughts, especially since I'm not involved. It doesn't impact me. There's no reason for me to get all super hyper emotional. Yeah, it's all anger. It's just all bravado right now. But you can see the pain in his eyes, and I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him. Because, I don't, just the little bit that I've been able to talk to him, there's not been a sweeter or more genuine or more respectful young man. Like, I mean, just as sweet as he can be. So, I don't want him to have any problems. But at the same time, sometimes you have to say, also don't create problems, and handle problems instead of squash one without creating three more, But this is his 30s, and your 30s are your most critical learning years. So this is where you leave your juvenile adolescence, claim for ignorance behind. You have to start handling real super emotional, super adult issues. You're not seasoned in it yet, so you're going to make some but this is a large growing decade for him. So I'm also I'm going to show him a lot of grace, because I know your 30s are a hard decade for young men. Super hard decade for young men. 20s are worse for women. 30s are worse for men. Yeah, all that, Stacy, all that, it's like everything happened. It's like boom, 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 like rapid fire demolition. And that's what makes me think maybe all this is something else that we just don't know the whole story of. You were 35 before you really felt mature. I'm fixing to be 45, and I'm like, when am I going to grow up? No kidding. When I was 12 or 13, I found out, I guess probably 12. I found out that Freddie Mercury passed a few months before, because that was when my school finally got internet, and I was Googling, and it said that Freddie had passed away a few months prior in November, and it was like late winter, early spring, and I just like had to come apart in the school library because I loved Queen. Queen got me through a lot. I would hide in the barn loft with my Walkman and go through batteries like you would not believe, just to get out of the world I was in, because it was not a good place. And I had to put myself in a place where I could give myself time to heal. And that music was where I healed. And so when I found that Freddie had passed away, it bothered me so much, because I wanted to thank him. I wanted to say thank you to somebody that had changed my life in such a huge manner, and taught me that there was beauty beyond the hills. There were beautiful people out there, and I just needed to wait till I was 18 and the world would open up. I would get to see what and who I needed to see to make my life what I wanted it to be. And that tore me apart. Absolutely tore me apart. But I thought I would lay there and think of it. He lived to be 45. That's a pretty good life. That's a pretty decent, that's good pushing. And now I'm fixing to turn 45, and I'm like, oh no, I'm still a baby. I don't have it all figured out. What? No. So it's perception, perspective, filters. We lie to ourselves in so many ways. And then when we see that other people have taken advantage of how we lie to ourselves to lie to us also, it hits us, and it's betrayal, and it hurts. And then we realize we were in on it too, because we helped them. We helped, and we put that veil up to think that they were the person that we could trust. And you should never, like, we're way too trusting of people. You should always keep in the back of your mind, careful parameters, so that you do not invest too much into someone else, and allow them to manipulate you and take you apart. And it's just a happy medium that is very hard to strike. And if you find people in your world and you're able to do that, that's normally like your ride or die that you have your whole life. Oh, you'll be 42 in March. Yeah, I'll be 45. I'll be 45 in May. Well, actually, Ryan and I have the same birthday. We're May 24th babies. So I'm just an older model. So it's really weird that we have the same birthday, but we have the same birthday. He's made a comment a couple times in the last couple of weeks that he was moving back to Ghost Ranch. What happened to his new property? I thought he built it for himself. I know. Well, when you build stuff under the filter of it's our home, he probably tainted the whole view of the home for himself. I wish he would, when he sets out to do stuff, just do stuff for him. And then if he finds somebody that is good and compatible, then they can join in. But do it for you, brother. Don't do it for a woman. Don't do it for a friend. Don't do it for you. And if somebody else can get enjoyment out of it, that's a bonus. That's great. But do it for you. That was your money. You earned it. You do it. Don't allow an attachment to form this unhealthy, because that's your money. You earned it. Do it for you. So maybe he'll get there. I don't know. But yeah, I thought he looked really peaceful and happy when he was building that, and he was kind of back to, ground zero, where he was just, a country boy building a house out in the woods and starting a life with somebody that understood him before fame. And, but I don't know what happened there. And it could have been, a horrible, horrible, horrible thing, and it's not for me to know, but, I'm sad that he's not happy. I'm sad that he's not happy. He deserves to be happy. But it takes work. Like, you can't depend on everyone around you to make you happy. And you can't depend on yourself to make everyone around you happy. It takes a cohesive unit where you get a return on investment from everyone that you trust. And you have accountability, and you have honesty, and you have emotional check-ins, and you have great communication, and, you have really, really great boundaries, and part of me wonders if he's starved for friendship. And everybody's like, "Oh no, he's got friends everywhere." But is he starved for the friendship that he really needs? Because we've all wandered through life and had great friends, but then we found somebody that made life so much better. And we all get to just sashay through society and bump into everybody. He doesn't have that ability most of the time. He just can't go anywhere and everywhere and bump into people and meet people, like we do, standing in the taco truck line or something. He can't do that. So, I wonder if he's starving, waiting for certain types of friendship to get back on a level playing field mentally and emotionally. Because it seems like after that bust up, after the Katie Noel, it's been more of a excursion. Taking me grocery shopping with you. I'll just randomly scream out, "Clean up aisle 8." But I just really want everybody to chill, understand what he's feeling, the betrayal he's feeling, understand kind of where he is emotionally, understand betrayal for yourself, how it works. We set ourselves up for betrayal because we look at people and we put our filters on them instead of seeing them for people and individuals that are flawed just like us. We try to make them into certain things, and then when they aren't those great, awesome, perfect beings, clutch my pearls. And then, we go, "Well, if I can't trust you and what I thought you were, then I can't trust me because I can't judge people correctly." And it's not about that. It's about honest, open communication and understanding that our perception is always going to be flawed. People are always going to be capable of things we've never thought possible. And you really have to work hard at relationships. Oh my God, so hard. And just because someone is related or bonded to you in certain does not mean that they're loyal. You better be having check-ins, talks, and making sure that you're taking care of that relationship and making sure that you're testing its health every once in a while. And that is how you maintain your, a good group of friends, a good circle of friends. Yes. Oh, Rachel, gosh, put that on a t-shirt. It is so hard to find someone good when everyone likes you. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick a dog at the pound when they're all licking you. I mean, they all look like good prospects, right? But every one of them's, has the probability to bite you. So how do you pick the best one when they're all licking you? He is kind of set up in the worst place possible to find authentic friendship. Absolutely. Well, you need to put that on a shirt and sell that. It's the best thing. That's like the best thing that I'm going to see today. That's like you've got the quote of the day right there. That's great. Everybody's grocery shopping. I am not. My husband just went to work, and I've got to build a fire in the stove because I want the house warmer than what it is. And then I've got to do dishes. And that's a lot for me because the last 2 days my legs are not like the best. Like I was walking pretty good yesterday, but the knees got really bad as the rain and freezing rain got closer. And so my knees are really swollen. And so I'm on my rolly cart today. So I'm like totally senior citizen rolling today. It's pathetic, but I've got to get stuff done. And I could hide under the blankets all day and whine about my knees, but I'm the only one here that's going to do the dishes, unless the dog decides to grow thumbs, which I'm totally here for. Oscar, you going to grow thumbs and do dishes? Oodipo. Oh, I gave him a haircut, y'all. You want to see Oscar's haircut? Oodipo, come here, Oodipo. Come here, Oodipo. Come here. Come here. Say hi, everybody. Oh, I love you. Oh, thank you. So I got a haircut. So look how cute I am. I got a haircut. I'm naked. He wears sweaters. Don't worry. He's not naked. Sweet, simple, and to the point. That's the best way to be. Yeah, Ryan needs friends that don't want anything from him but him. I get frustrated when I see Johnny Gobble start talking about bad mouth people, and I'm like, listen, if you have taken $1 bill from that family, you need to shut up. because you are part of the problem. You are part of the problem. Shut up. It's just like, you invalidate yourself. Shut up. And that's just kind of how I see him. And I don't want to be mean to him. It's just like, if you're sitting there saying Patty was such a bad person for doing this to him, but you benefited from it, then guess what? You're a bad person too. By your own default measures, you're a bad person too. So just shut up. So I just have very little tolerance for the way that he puts things down. It's like, no, you benefited from the harm that has befallen this family, so you invalidate yourself completely. Oh, Brittany. Oh, I enjoy responding. Most of the time I chat and when I'm crafting, and I enjoy getting to know y'all. And lots of yous like end up going to my husband's store. He's got an Etsy store, and go and visit my husband's channel. My husband's channel is Trapper Dave Waters. He's a trapper tanner, and he works at an automotive fabrication plant, but he's a trapper tanner. And so it's Trapper Dave Waters, my big old burly husband, if you all want to go follow him. And then he sells his pelts and furs. And if I make something, I do a lot of physical therapy with my hands and make a lot of native stuff because I'm half Cherokee. So if I make something that is like super, super adorable or cute, then I will be like here to pay for all the craft supplies that he keeps me in so that I can do physical therapy. I like, here, you may sell that. So he sells his furs and pelts and stuff on his Etsy store, and the Etsy store is Hillbilly Heart Decor. We run hard with the Hillbilly Heart name around here, and his Facebook is Hillbilly Furs. So if you ever want to send a message, you can send a message through Facebook at Hillbilly Furs, and it'll get to me. You just say, hey, this is for Mama Liz, and he'll get it to me. Well, I mean, life is all about learning. And if we're not learning about life and how to handle it better, then what are we doing? I mean, I can only watch so many women put on the same shade of lipstick. It's pretty self-explanatory, okay? But when it comes to learning how to handle life's emotional battles and life's harder, really big life events, you don't find a lot of people that will share their knowledge. And since I'm not practicing anymore, and this is just advice from a friend on YouTube, I really enjoy coming on here and saying, hey, look at it this way. Challenge yourself to have this perspective. Look at yourself from this vantage point. And so a lot of people have thanked me and been like, whoa, I get it now. And I'm like, sometimes it's just meeting the right person that can say something in the right way, like Rachel did above. That made perfect sense. And the more people that we get with and we talk about these important things, the more likely we are to have these aha moments, and the better person we're going to become, because we're going to have all these aha moments that stack up to make us brilliant people. Every time you add a wrinkle in your brain, you're benefiting yourself. I know he's trying to do something about strikes and lawsuits, and I'm just like, dude, by the time you try to do all this, and then you go to court, and it comes to find out that you've benefited from funds that have potentially come from tainted resources, there's not going to be any judge. They're going to be like, get this away from us. Just, I mean, I sat in so many court trials, and it's just, they do not take pettiness very well in courts. Judges are very busy people, and if you have a petty problem, they're going to be like very upset with you for bringing that. You're not going to get a good response. They're going to be very mad at you. Now, I've been in the cone of shame a few times with like probation revocations and parole revocations between judges and the parole board, and they thought I didn't have a good enough claim against someone, but I had to do a warrant by the regulations and law. And they would get really upset that I had wasted like 10 minutes of their day. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. The rules are rules. I had to do a warrant. It was a violent new charge. I know it was a minimal thing, but it was a violent new charge, which meant, boom, immediate warrant. And so I would just kind of put my head down and be like, I know you don't like me right now, but I had to do this. Sorry. And we'd have a good laugh afterwards. But judges are fickle creatures. And my criminal court judge still calls to check on me, and he's retired, but he's still a fickle creature. I wouldn't be trying to put what he's putting online, saying what he's saying, especially after what I caught the other night, and then try to go to court and make himself out to be a victim. That's a kiss your butt curve not many people will follow. Let's just be honest. I mean, that's just no. I understand that. I think that they were trying to get him in a better mindset, but sometimes when you feed a stray, your kindness is misconstrued as like a longitudinal weakness that can go on forever. And I think that's what he thought he was getting there. As long as he stayed around, he would keep being the stray that kept getting fed. Well, I caught him. I'm so glad I watched that live, and I caught him say that. I caught the response, and I caught the facial behavior, and I made a video about it, so it's a few videos back on my page, but it disgusted me. It disgusted me because he was going from blaming everybody and saying how horrible it was and that she was doing all this, but then lo and behold, he was a benefactor. So therefore, in my book, he's just as guilty. If that's the basis of the problem, then you're just as big of a problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who stole the car and who handed it off to another person. It's still stolen. So even if it goes through 7 people, it's still stolen property, and everybody that's had it is in the same amount of trouble. So it's like, dude, stop telling on yourself. I caught Tim. He was talking about that he could verify that Miss Patty was giving away a lot of Ryan's money, and then the guy that he was talking to, which I didn't know him, I'd never seen before, was like J Rod or something, was like, yeah, and I heard about you. How was Christmas this year? And he broke down laughing. Was like, it was good, pretty good this year. I actually made a video. You can go watch it. And I was like, oh. And then he was like, and yeah, he's like, don't they expect me to put some back for an attorney too? And I was like, you were taking money from people, thinking you were in a relationship, a friendship with people, taking money and then setting some aside for legal issues? Really? Like, oh, here, thank you for blessing me and my family. I'm going to set a third of this aside in case I have to see you one day. What the crap? I mean, biting dog if there ever was one. Well, I caught what concerned me. I caught it and turned it into a video at 3 freaking a.m. in the morning because it made me so mad. So it's on my page if you want to go see what I caught. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he has to play that role because that's his benefactor role. That's his benefactor role. And it's sad to say that that's the only thing he's learned to do that benefits him, because he can learn to do so much. But that's his benefactor role. He's not he plays stupid, but he's not stupid. He can learn to do so much. But when you find something that works, you milk it. You milk it till that tit dries up. And he's milked it. But then he gets mad at everybody else for saying that, you're not a good friend. Well, I'm sorry. If the whole issue is misallocation of funds and you got some of those misallocated funds, then you are part of the problem. I mean, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. For whatever reason you got them, if it's misallocated funds and you are in receipt of some of those misallocated funds, then you're part of the problem. But, that's that flawed human filter. He can completely cut himself out of the responsibility and accountability. And, oh, no, he can't. Not if this gets turned into something criminal, ooh, it'll be a doozy. It'll be a doozy. So, but yeah, just thought I'd pop on and be like, betrayal. It never comes from strangers because we don't have expectations of strangers. We have expectations of friends. We put filters on our friends and we think we know them. We think we know everything about them. And when they betray us, then it makes us question them and ourselves because we feel like we've betrayed ourselves because don't I know better? How do I choose my people? How do I do this now? How do I right this wrong? Holy heck. And it challenges us and it makes us really think that we betrayed ourselves as well. So Ryan is really in a shock and awe moment of his life and he's hiding it with a lot of aggression and bravado, but he's really having a very internal spinning out of control. Who the hell can I trust now? I've got to reestablish everything, and nothing is as it seems because when one of those filters drops, you start to question everybody and everything. So, yeah, I expect a purge of information, probably a purge of people, and I hate that it's playing out online, but I expect for more information to come out. So, I just really hope that people are praying for this family and just and instead of agging on Ryan when he's in that really toxic space where he's trying to say I'm a warrior, I'm invincible, you're a hurt human being and you're allowed to be a hurt human being, and you don't have to bounce back from everything in 5 seconds, and you should get to mourn this. This is a hard thing in life. You don't have to be what you think people need to see. You can just be Ryan. Hi, Leva Cats. How you doing? So, I want him to just be Ryan, just be a human that needs to heal for a little while and understand what's going on and why he's feeling the way he's feeling. And I hope that there is some kind of healing that can take place. And, I'm hoping that if more information comes out, that there's more of an understanding and that the family can heal from this, because I don't want any family to fall apart. It's just you don't want any family to fall apart. Well, I appreciate that, Daniel. I want Creek Squad to be positive again instead of attacking. It just, we used to care about each other. Now all we care about is trying to get people banned off YouTube or aggressively scare people off YouTube or chase them away from having a perspective or an opinion. And it's like, that's not healthy. For us, it took us so long for Ryan to be listened to legitimately as an artist because he had an odd perspective, an odd point of view. And we were like, please just accept this point of view, accept this opinion, accept this way of being. And then the first thing we do as a group is start shutting down other people and not respecting their way of being and their perspective. And it's just like, we can't do that. We can't do that. Yeah, set the persona down and be the person for a while. And let the person feel everything and heal. And it's going to suck. But it'd be a lot better than trying to rage through it. It'd be a lot better. So I literally just mulled this last night in my head so much. Because it's you could come up with a treatment plan of how to help him prepare for these emotional awakenings when people do these things. But because of the lifestyle he leads and the cycle of employment he has, he's always going to be finding people that are going to betray him and do him wrong and do him dirty and try to take advantage of him, use him for his finances. He's going to be hurt 10 million times more than the average person just because the cycle of people he goes through to maintain his business and everything he does. That's why it's also so important that you learn this lesson early. But raging through anything it just blocks you. It blocks you from the healing because you can't heal when your heart is in rage because it's not open. So I hope that he sits down and realizes that, yeah, he's mad at everybody else, but he's also mad at himself. And he has to realize that he doesn't have the ability to know everything about everybody and what everybody's capable of. And you're going to pick bad people sometimes, and you're going to have these upsets. And you have to learn how to limit those so that they don't hit you as hard. And that's why I say don't employ your family, keep them separate. Professionals for work, family for fun. And that way you won't get all these mixed emotions when something like this hits, and it won't be such a dramatic pain. So I hope he sets up a better dynamic in the workforce and better boundaries. But I just hope he heals. And I hope the family is able to heal, because I never want to see a family fall apart. I mean, even if everything is true, with no questions or no, she has no comeback. I just hope the family can heal, because a family is something that you really can't replace. Just you really can't. I saw that she said, y'all need to be aware of the people around him, but that I have kind of felt that for the last 10 months to a year, that something has changed, and it's changed the way that he presents himself and his patterns of behavior. So I'm wondering who, what, when, where was the trigger moment, because that's about 10 months to a year ago is when I saw behavioral changes that kind of went, I was like, what, this is not normal. This is not how you usually respond. So I'm wondering kind of who came in at that point, what changed at that point. But I do believe that Miss Patty probably has a story to tell. I don't really think that it should be told online. I think the family needs to deal with it, but I don't think she was doing something malicious. Now, she probably did something wrong by not getting him to sign off and not have knowledge of where his money was going. That's wrong. That's wrong. But I don't think she was doing it for a malicious purpose. And I hope that they can talk about that and kind of find a middle ground and understand each other. Having price shock. Oh, eggs were $6.66 the other day at Walmart, and I was like, now Satan's involved. And then somebody made a meme, and I thought that first. I thought that first. I hope it's not done online too. I hope it's private. You can tell in Ron's eyes if he's healing or if he's still in that painful spot. He thinks he hides it, but he doesn't. You can see it's the more bravado, the more pain, just to be quite honest. So I've just been praying for him, just hoping that he gets it, hoping that he puts the puzzle pieces together, hoping that he comes back and listens, and hoping that he, gravitates toward some people that are going to educate him on this era in his life, which is going to be a cleanup era and an establishment era for the rest of his life. Your 30s are kind of your done being a kid. Now it's time to make my way. So hopefully he'll run into some good people that can get him back on track. Yeah, Ryan's never been like, I always told him I'd never lie to him. He may not always like what I have to say, but I'll never lie to him. And so he normally, even though he was confused at the first point when I expressed myself, he was like, okay, thank you for your thoughtfulness. So normally we always get along, and normally we try to irritate each other more than anything. But I was really having a very serious, like, spill your gut moment to him, and he because I've been really upset about this whole Creek Squad pitchfork and mob momentum, and yeah, he responded, was like, thank you, because he cares, but he's look at everything he's dealing with, and he can't like, if there's a certain, like, I think there's a lot of people that say they're Creek Squad that aren't Creek Squad that just go out and try to sway the view of Creek Squad. And he can't control them. I was just trying to make him aware, that, we're getting awful toxic over here. Yeah, leave. I don't know how to feel about it either. Like I've got about 50 different ways I can go on this, and it's just like I need more information, I need more context. But then again, it's not mine to have. It's not my decision to make. It's not my problem to fix. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So I'm in one of those conundrums where I'm invested and I hope everything goes well, but it's also not my business. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know where he's from. I'm just gonna say something. Like I wanted to be all invested in the Tam Fam positivity thing, but every time I showed up on a Tam Fam video, it felt like all we were doing was talking about somebody that pissed her off that day. And so I'd show up being like, let's be all positive, let's see what we're gonna talk about today. Let's talk about love. And then in the middle of the love, it would turn into a neck swinging okay hooch. And I was like, whoa, 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 I didn't sign on for this. This is not positivity. Or they were going after somebody that they felt did them wrong. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, there are bullies on Facebook, but when you go after the bullies, you become the bully. So whoa, 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 whoa. And so I kind of pulled back from the Tam Fam stuff a lot because I was just kind of indifferent as to I didn't know where the energy was going. So I was like, I'm just going to wait and see. And I wanted to support Miss Patty and them, and I even like purchased a pair of shoes from Tamara. I wanted to support them, but I was just like, I'm gonna wait and see where this goes because I'd seen some stuff that it was not to me. It didn't fulfill what they say they were setting their goals for, and it felt like sometimes when I turned her on, either she was super positive or she looked like the bully that when she walked down the hallway at high school, you went to the other side and put like a quarter mile onto your route to your next class just to not come in contact with. You know? So it was like she was either like the sweetest person or she had that face on where you was hard to stare at the screen and you just wanted to flee. And I was like, I'm getting conflicting vibes. So I didn't feel a consistency in behavior. And I tell you, I need consistency. I am a creature of habit. I need consistency. And so when I get inconsistency from others, I kind of go, you stay over there until I figure you out. And so I kind of pulled back from all of that because I didn't understand what was going on. And she was always trying to distance herself from Ryan's channel, but then she would pop up and say something about Ryan every time she was on. And I was like, I just don't understand. Because a positivity group with a moderately famous person's mother ought to be a pretty easy sell if you are going to be positive and do what you say you're going to do. But there was just a lot of drama that kept coming up, a lot of drama. And then, with the people that they added, it was almost like it turned into like this little like gang mentality. And I was like, no, I know at one time they were all kind of beefing on somebody that had made them mad, some clairvoyant or something other. And I was like, hey, how about if it's a positive time? We just come on here and we say something kind about someone who did a kindness to us today, or we talk about somebody who was important in our life that showed us kindness, or, we forget about who done us wrong today. We just talk about someone who done a kindness to us today. Completely blocked. Like she just completely, I knew she saw it because normally she would like reach out to me when she saw my name. I knew she completely read, and you could see her face change. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, message received. And so I was like, and I don't think I went back after that. And it was hard for me because I wanted to support Patty, but I couldn't sit there and watch people like rag on people. And I was just like, I can't do this. Powerball's up to 4 dozen eggs. Okay, so she's the voice on the phone conversation because I've got so much snot in my head right now, I could not tell for sure. So is that the voice on the phone conversation? How long does anybody know how long they've known each other? I don't know. There's just something that seems so unsettled there. But if you're in a place where you feel alone and you're longing for friendship, you'll sometimes put yourself in bad positions to have a friend. And you'll make excuses for behavior. You'll start to make excuses, allowances, and pretty much you're just in sheer avoidance of what they're doing that's true because you just don't want to lose them because you think the loss would be harder than what you're dealing with. We all get stuck in that sometimes. Well, that's sad. That adds a whole nother layer for me now. I would never allow anybody to do a quit claim on my name for anything. Do you know what that makes you responsible for? Do you know what having a quit claim signed over you makes you responsible for? Excuse me, I'm not holding your golden egg. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Ain't happening. That ain't gonna happen. No, that could put a big burden on somebody, especially if it sits like that for a while, and a poor person like me have to roll around and pay taxes on something that sits long enough. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I do favors for my friends, but no, I don't do those kind of favors for my friends. Nope. Money is the root of all evil. Money will break down a family and a friendship before anything else will. So no, I would never have anything signed over in my name. Quit claim. And if I don't know, and if they were like, "Oh, I need to hide this," I'd be like, "It's a freaking house. You can't hide it. You should have thought about that before you bought it." Thank God I have a sense of humor. It makes talking about hard things easier. But it's just like I'd be like, "Nope, nope, I ain't doing that for you." Because man, that's a whole lot of a burden on somebody. Yeah, I agree. I guess I say I think I'm blessed to be so freaking poor because it keeps me honest. Because all I've got's my name, so it keeps me honest. And I feel really bad, for people that have good hearts, and then when they get money, it seems to cause them nothing but pain. Gypsy, I'm back. Well, I'm almost done. I've chit-chatted all I needed to. I just wanted to check in and kind of sit here and get my body going and get moving so that I could get the fire started to get some stuff done in the house. So I've got to get my house warmed up. I don't want my furnace running my electric up, so I'm going to build a big wood stove, a big fire in the wood stove. And 13 cavities? Was that Abby? Hey, Denise. Well, apparently she has been biting on the screws then. She's not stepping on them. She's been chewing them. Oh, my goodness. Did they get them all taken care of today? Oh, so she's got tight teeth. I've got tight teeth too. Oh, that sucks. Oh, except for the 4 that the bull knocked out when I was 17. I guess he was trying to help space my teeth. Got 5 of them fixed. Bless her heart. Well, tell her to take a nap and feel better. Bless her heart. I'm fixing to start a fire and kind of chill and watch it until it gets settled. And then I'm going to do some housework. So if anything else pops up today, I might pop on. But for the most part, I'm having a lazy day because I feel like crap. Because it's freaking cold here and my body's like, lady, no. My reflex sympathetic dystrophy is like, I hate you today, lady. I hate you. One-armed pirate. My hand, I've still got the nerves are not quite right through here from that flare I had last week where my hand went crazy. And so I'm still dealing with some, like, I will miss stuff when I go to grab for it. So I'm still having some issues. And sometimes dealing with the poker and the fire is really frustrating. But At least I'm getting around, you know. But that was the worst flare in my hand I'd ever had. Oh, her wisdom teeth. Oh my God. Get them things out as quick as you can, because them things are nothing but problems. Lord, well, I'm glad I got a check in from you before I logged off. That makes me feel better. Okay, Creek Squad, y'all go out and be positive. Send love and prayers out to everybody. Make sure that you understand that no matter who's viewing this anyway, even myself, we're viewing it through a flawed perception that we generate through our own lifestyle and our own life encounters and our own life environments, and we're all flawed. So everyone that, you know, we could probably talk to 5 million people, get 5 million views, and probably 4.8 are viable. So, you know, let's not attack each other for having opinions, but let's try to have a kindness about us when we deal with this and as we're speaking of it, and be respectful to the family, and hope that things go positively and that somewhere down the line love pops up above the hate. That's what I'd like to see. I know. I wish Oscar had thumbs he could do dishes. I will roll a mason jar with cream and make milk if I get really upset at the butter prices. Because my dad has a cattle farm, so I can get milk, so I can cheat a lot. So I cheat a lot. So he's also butchering a steer next month, and I'm like, burger, yum. I'm telling you, if I had chickens right now, I'd be feeding them all scraps with like sunflower seeds and maybe a little bit of cracked corn, sunflower seeds. I'd be fermenting any grain or any scratch. I'd be fermenting so it become 3 times what it was, and scraps. And that's what I'd be feeding right now, because there's a reason chickens ain't laying. But I will tell you that my dad's chickens, he buys all his chicken feed at the independent farmers co-op. And so they have not changed who provides them. Nothing's changed in their feed recipe, and his are still laying just fine. But my dad also supplements with scraps and ferments as well. So, and they're still overrun with eggs. Like I brought home like 36, 40, I brought home 48 eggs last time I visited. He's got some very big time layers right now. So every time I visit, I take home like parts of cows and eggs. So I like to visit. I'm supposed to visit Friday if I feel like it. David's got to go put snares back out for the weekend, and if I feel like it, I'm going to visit again Friday. So if y'all like the antics of my mother and my father, you will probably be seeing that Friday if I feel like going with them. So I'm hoping I do. It's just, boy, it's hard on me to go all the way down that mountain and all the way back. It's hard on me. But I enjoy it. I miss Granny too. I like to see Granny. Granny actually spoke to me last time I was there. She hadn't talked in a while, and she spoke to me, and she smiled for her pictures. So I was very impressed with my Granny. She's 93, and she's bedbound, but she's the most sweetest, just passive. I mean, she's just sweet. And Mom takes care of her, and I don't know how my mother does it. And I'm basically useless, or I would be down there helping. My mother is way stronger and doing better than I am, sadly. And so I miss them a lot. So when I can go down, I go down, and I steal eggs. I am the family suck egg dog. I will steal them all. I just told you my flaw. That's my worst flaw. I will steal my mother's eggs. Of course, she always has so many. She doesn't care. She's like, here, take some home. But, you know, I always take eggs home when I visit. So I am the family suck egg dog. I will wear the label. Somebody make me a shirt. I'll wear it. Lord. Okay. Well, I'm glad we ended on a laugh. You guys got there to be positive. Show love. Show kindness. Keep everything aware that we all have all our perceptions, and we're all flawed, and we're all going to be all over the place, and it's not our problem to know what, to know everything about, and just try to show love and compassion, and pray for this family as they try to move forward and heal through this. And, if I hear anything else, I'll pass it along, but probably going to be a quiet day because I'm going to try to stay warm. If y'all have really good like show recommendations, put them down below because I'm going to be still the next few days as the weather's super cold and I'm getting bored out of my freaking mind. So toss me up some recommendations for some really good shows. I literally will watch anything as long as it's like got good content to it. So, all right, I'm gonna go start a fire. I will talk to y'all later. That sounded like Tyrone. I mean, in my wood stove. Bye, guys.